Lindsay Moon. Thank you. We are now recording. I am Lindsay Moon with Searchlight Lending, and I am the co-host of our women's group with the Marin Builders Association. My co-host Janine isn't able to make it today, so I'm your only host. And Christine's off in Hawaii, enjoying herself and thinking that she's here to help out. And we also have Rick Wells from Marin Builders. So without further ado, I just do a quick introduction, just kind of like I did Lindsay Moon, Searchlight Lending. I'm an independent mortgage officer, also a green builder, and just a quick little intro about what you do. And I will call two people at a time, so one person and then the other, and then I'll call another two, and we'll go through. So we'll do our two hosts today first, Stacy, and then MJ and Gigi.
I'm Stacy Lappick. I have a 38-year-old national award-winning interior design firm focusing on luxury markets with biophilic design, which aligns our interiors with our environment. Timeless design aligned with nature.
Wonderful. Hello, I'm MJ.
And I'm Gigi.
And we are with Poway Construction. We are a woman-owned and managed general contractor.
And we do houses, residential and commercial restaurants.
Awesome. All right, next up, Malka and Mi-hyun.
Hi, I'm Malka. I work for RC Cabinets and Closets. We're a cabinet maker, family business for 30 years together. We deal with Marin, Sonoma, and Napa counties generally, but serve the entire Bay Area. And I like to specialize in closets, but we are a fully licensed cabinet maker. That's it.
My name is Mi-hyun Kurtzman. I'm an architect and a real estate broker. This is my, I think, second meeting I attended with builders. I guess I should do this more often. I've been an architect for 40 years, and we design residential, commercial, and my background is retail. It's nice to meet you all. Thank you.
And a reminder too, you guys, once you have introduced yourself, please feel free to put your contact information in the chat, your phone number and email, so people can reach out and connect. Next up, Viridiana, and then Lindsay Kaiser.
Hi, my name is Viridiana Rasso, and I'm from BRH Drywall, and we are a drywall company. I am the RMO and president of the company.
Hi, I'm Lindsay Kaiser, first-time caller. I'm with SVN. I'm a commercial real estate advisor. Thank you for having me today. I'm also the co-chair of the Women of Industry at the Sehrenfeld Chamber, and we have our luncheon in 2 weeks on the 23rd, and somebody on this call is an honoree this year. The details will be in the chat. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, very cool. Next up, Amy with Amy's Roofing, and then Amy Fregosi.
Oh, the two Amy's. I'm Amy, actually owner of Amy's Roofing and Solar. We're based here in Petaluma, but we do a lot of work in Marin, and brand new. This is my first meeting with the Marin Builders, and really excited to see all these women tradespeople here. But we do roofing, solar, batteries, car chargers, and main panel upgrades when they're needed.
Hi, my name is Amy Fregosi. I own Mondolfo Interior Design located here in the San Francisco Peninsula in Burlingame. And I was invited to this meeting by Alexandra Martinez. So I'm really happy to be here. And Stacy, I feel your pain. Oh my gosh, so awful. I specialize in residential interiors, and I love doing kitchens and bathrooms. Thank you so much for having me.
And next up, Alexa and Alexandra. Oh my gosh, it's funny. Everyone's like, it's just random how that's happening, I swear.
Hi, I'm Alexa. I'm over at Old 10 Glass. We supply windows, doors, skylights, glass railings, you name it. And I work in marketing here and also do project management.
Oh, Alexandra, you're on mute.
There you go. Now I can. Hello, my name is Alexandra Martinez. I'm a owner of a human resources consulting company, and just about 4 weeks ago, I launched a new product that is an HR consultant powered by artificial intelligence and human intelligence that I created with my Stanford group. Here is here. Here's my QR. So if you put your phone there, you can get my contact information. I'm also the director of policy of the National Association of Women Business Owner and Advocacy for Women Business Owner. We are currently working in the definition of microloans and loans for women business owners. And, you know, since we are 38% of the US population, is a bipartisan entity. And, you know, if you have any questions or if you want to know more about it, please feel free to reach out. If you feel that there is anything in the field of women business owner that you want to move forward and pass it into Congress, or again, it's bipartisan, you know, please feel free to let me know. I'm always looking to hear what other business owner just like me we go through.
Thank you very much. And next up, we have Jessica Murphy and then Allison Corso.
Hi, my name is Jessica Murphy. I am the co-owner of Murphy Construction. We primarily serve Marin, San Francisco, and Sonoma counties, and I'm excited to be here.
Hey everyone, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. My name is Ali Corso. I'm from Ceramic Tile Center. We just opened a new location here in San Rafael, and our original location is in Sonoma County in Santa Rosa. I work in business development with Kate, who should also be in this meeting. And yeah, we are kind of new members of the Marin Builders, and we're really loving the community here.
Wonderful, welcome. Oh, also another reminder too, if you want to put your company name behind your own name, there are, if you kind of scroll onto your own tile, there should be 3 dots on the top right-hand corner, and you can rename yourself and add your company name. And then also a reminder to put your contact information in the chat. Next up, Naima and Katie Volk.
Hi, everyone. My name is Naima Sweeting. I'm the principal and owner of Studio Surrette. It's a landscape architecture firm. So we provide full services for commercial and residential. I personally have a combined background of architecture and landscape architecture with almost 25 years in the industry. We would love to partner with people who use really innovative materials and different approaches. So looking forward to meeting all of you.
Hi, I'm Katie Volk. I'm an architect, interior designer, and project manager. I spent the last 15 years in the corporate world and recently branched off to start my own practice called Katie Volk Design. So it's great to be here, and always thank you to Christine for inviting me to these wonderful events.
Thank you. Thanks for being here. And next up, Eva Klein and Florence Livingston.
Hi there, my name is Ava Klein. I am from Loxy Design in San Francisco. We are a full service interior design studio located in Pacific Heights. We handle projects all over the Bay Area.
Hi, good morning. I'm Florence Livingston, Florence Livingston Interiors. We're also a residential interior design business. We're based in Mill Valley. And I've been a member of MBA for many years and haven't been able to make the Building Women meetings too much, but I'm happy to be here today.
Awesome, thank you. And Ashley Murphy, then Judy Cooper.
Hello, everybody. My name is Ashley Murphy. I am the owner of Alchemech Engineering. I'm a licensed mechanical engineer and I engineer all things. I do a holistic approach to energy efficient homes and healthy homes. So I do enclosure design all the way down to mechanical systems, including a lot of hydronic heating and cooling systems, all electric systems, and just building in grid resilience and energy efficiency. And I work all over the
Uh-oh, I think we lost Ashley. She's frozen. All right, Judy, you want to take it away and we'll come back to you, Ashley.
Hello, everyone. My name is Judy Cooper. I'm with Kitchens Inside Out. We are a kitchen and bath design studio, and we work all over the Bay Area. It's wonderful to see everyone and hear all of the great businesses. So thank you.
Ashley, do you want to try again? Your screen did freeze there for a second.
Okay. Dang it. Yes, I am a licensed mechanical engineer and I'm licensed in California and Colorado. And I specialize in a holistic approach to energy efficiency, home resilience, and healthy home design. So passive house building enclosures, building science, and mechanical systems that are grid resilient, all electric, load shifting, a lot of hydronics and heat pump design. So really cool cutting edge stuff happening in especially the residential market. And yeah, I take projects all over the country. So
Thank you.
thanks.
Next up, Kate Kelly and Trisha Guido.
Hi, everyone. Kate Kelly with Ceramic Tile Center. This is my first Zoom call with this wonderful group of women. As my colleague earlier mentioned, Ali Corso, we opened our natural stone slab and tile showroom in San Rafael in March. And we've been being members of Marin Builders and are excited to meet you and hope to get to know you even better.
Hi, everyone. Trisha Guido here, and I want to thank Christine and Lindsay for inviting me. It's my first call, and I help people build ADUs from start to finish, from feasibility to, I have a construction background, designing construction and project management, and so happy to be here.
Thanks, Trisha. Good to see you. Next up, Julie Feinstein and Marissa Marseille.
All right. Hi, everybody. Such an amazing group of humans. So I'm Julie Feinstein. I'm the business development manager with Arana Craftsman Painters. We have been in business for 20 years, family owned. Our founders are Catherine Baldy, who was in the meeting last month, and her husband, Ernesto Arana. And we particularly love partnering with interior designers and contractors. It's actually my job to build those relationships. So if anybody's interested in talking more about how we can support you, please hit me up. And we are kind of known as an Oakland painter, but we really are expanding throughout the Bay Area. And we've done projects in Sausalito, San Rafael, Napa, Sonoma, and certainly all throughout the East Bay and even all the way down to Athens, so Burlingame, those areas. So anyway, happy to be here. Thank you, everybody. Oh, and we do paint, wallpaper, and stain, interiors and exteriors. There we go. That's all of it.
I'm Marisa Marseille. I'm with the Contractors Coach. And what I do is I help the owners of construction companies grow their businesses without the chaos. And the way that I do that is I help them put systems together. I help them build the right team for themselves so that those systems can actually get implemented. And I also work with them on showing them how to run their business from the numbers. So with that combination, clients can scale and take vacations as well, instead of just kind of being slaves to the business. And thank you for having me. Always fun to be in these meetings.
Wonderful, great, thank you. Next up, we have Magda and Shannon.
Hello, everyone. Magda Loxi here with Marin Sanitary Service. I have been here about a year and a half, and I'm new business development. So I work on a number of businesses for the Marin Builders Association. I'm mostly focused on building our debris box business. We're mostly known as the garbage provider that comes every week to deal with your garbage and recycling and compost. We also offer debris boxes for construction and demolition, and we are specialized in source separation and providing the highest diversion rates possible. We have a certified material recovery facility, but I'm interested in making sure everybody knows that we do provide debris boxes for all of the construction needs happening in San Rafael and the surrounding areas being Larkspur, Fairfax, San Anselmo, Kentfield, and San Rafael being the main areas. So we have partners who we can recommend in places like Sonoma County for like Windsor, and then Mill Valley refuse in that area. So happy to be here, and I'm looking forward to hearing the presentation. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Then we have Nicole Ty, and then Jody Jansen.
Hi, I'm Nicole Ty. I am Vice President of the board of Marin Builders. So if you need anything, come see me. I am the owner and CEO of Green Links. We're a deconstruction company, and we have a reuse facility in Santa Rosa. So if you need reclaimed lumber or lights or anything, check out greenlinks.net or give us a call. Thanks.
And Jody?
Yeah, hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm Jody Jansen with Jansen Design, residential interior designer, and I'm happy to be here today to learn more about relationships with contractors, which is really important to me. So, yeah, residential design in Marin County, mostly Northern County, and yeah, I enjoyed being part of this group. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And my co-host Janine Aricchio with YesTM is here. And Janine, if you're able to, are you able to say hello and do a quick intro?
I think I can. Hello, everybody from O'Hare Airport. Making my way back to the Bay Area. Really happy to be here. My business is YesTM, and I am a business coach, a mindset coach, and a project coach for designers, contractors, and architects, and was a designer myself for 20 years. Love Marin Builders. Happy to be here and happy I can make some of this panel today. I'm going to go off camera.
Fabulous. That's a good place to introduce yourself, is at an airport, because hopefully you said it really loudly and like a whole bunch of people just heard you. And I was,
what's Marin Builders?
Well, great. That's everyone, I think. Speak now if I've missed somebody, please.
Yeah, you missed Shannon Hughes.
Oh, sorry, Shannon. Sorry, I thought I said your name. Sorry, go ahead.
No worries. Shannon Hughes, founder of Enlivened Studios. And my work is I am in service of the design and build industries, helping leaders to ignite the power of their teams so that their people stay, build together, and thrive. And I do that a couple of different ways. One is values exploration. So what do you stand for in your organization, and how do you systematize those values? I also do culture mentorship, experiential facilitation for team building, and also one-on-one coaching, I should say, for working with a couple of interior designers right now with tiny teams to help them kind of figure out how to mentor, develop, work with the folks that are helping to propel their business forward. Happy to be here as always, and thanks for listening.
Fabulous. Thank you. There's such a varied we have such a varied background, all of us. I really feel like there'll be lots of really good connections here. Again, make sure to put your contact information in the chat. And on to our featured presentation. We're really excited about this, and it's been a long time coming. And so it's client-centered design and construction, and we've got Stacy Lappick, Gigi, and MJ, and please take it away. If everyone else could please put themselves on mute.
Okay, so MJ is going to share her screen. Yay. Okay. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
Yes?
Yep, all good.
Okay, great. Well, I'm going to turn this over to MJ to get you started. It's going to be an interactive presentation, hopefully. So everybody knows where the little automatic hand goes up, because that'll put you to the front of the group so we could see that your hand is up. Otherwise, we can't see everybody's boxes. So with that, take it away, MJ.
All right. Well, what a great group. Thank you, guys. Yeah, so pretty much we wanted to provide you with an idea from an architect's perspective, an interior design's perspective, and a contractor's perspective on, you know, what the perfect process will be in the perfect world, of course. Right. So as we mentioned, Stacy, ourselves, and we had additional collaboration from Heather Wright. She was part of it for the beginning stages. So great. Perfect. And we're just gonna go very briefly through what we're gonna talk about. We're gonna start with a diagram that will kind of give you an idea of how we came out with, you know, some of the steps that we were thinking of as the ideal steps throughout the construction process or design process. And pretty much, as I mentioned, the perspective of all of us, and we will have some time for Q&A, hopefully. All right, perfect. So again, as we mentioned, it's going to be very interactive, and we want you guys to just share thoughts throughout the presentation. With a lot of the meetings that we had, we talked a lot about the client and the importance of how we can have the best approach with them. There are so many different layers in regards to how, you know, the client gets to us. It could be through the interior designer, it could be through us. Sometimes we are actually the ones that hired the architect and interior designers and so forth. So it's, yeah, I don't know, Stacey, if you'd like to chip in a little bit on this.
Yeah, so everything, as MJ said, is in service to the client. And it can get pretty confusing. So when we first come on a job, we want to make sure that we're not stepping on each other's toes, and that the client isn't paying the designer for the same thing that the architect already did, or that the contractor already figured out, so we don't have to figure it out, right? So clear communication is, of course, always the most important. Always call out the elephant in the room, and then you can have a good time, right?
Definitely.
Okay.
Is there anything you would like to add in regards to?
It's all, yeah.
Does anyone have any comments about how everyone is connected? And who brings on who? Alrighty then.
I was just gonna say that when I was a GC for many years, and I just found like when you took the time to talk to that person, even if like they don't know the order of operations of who to reach out to first, and a lot of times I would get the first phone call and I'm like, okay, so you need to actually speak to an architect or a designer first. And we'd have this referral list. And so it just makes that client feel really well taken care of and keeps it kind of in-house. And like almost every time, if you took that time to speak to that person and point them in the right direction, they would come back as a client, and they would all like, I remember just getting so many thank yous from people like, thank you so much for taking the time to explain this to me. Because a lot of times, like you'll just get like, oh, you don't, yeah, you're talk to somebody else. You're not ready for me kind of thing. So hand holding, I think, is really important.
Yeah, Janine, were you going to say something?
Sure, I can't help myself. Hi, everybody. I love that you brought up communication because I saw it when I had a firm, and then I see it with my clients that people are just afraid to like tell the truth because they think the client won't like them or they'll get fired or so yeah, transparency totally from the beginning. And one thing that I learned from a owner's rep who I worked for was to think about the project as the ultimate client, as like your paying client will be the happiest, as will everybody else will have the most success if you center the project. And I always like that perspective because then it makes it easier to maybe deliver some difficult news to the client, that the project is really
We're all after the same result. We're
Yeah.
all this for you, in service to you. Yeah, very much so. Ashley, did you have something to say?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I love to see mechanical engineer even thought about on this list because a lot of residential projects just have the subcontractor, mechanical subcontractor figure it out on site. But I'll just say, like, as a engineer who's had construction experience, like it's really interesting to see like the wide variety of expertise that different like architects or different contractors know. Like I'll work with some who have like they've already done all these crazy installations and some of them who have never heard of it before. So like just even having an internal discussion around who can bring what strengths to the team at the beginning, like even maybe not with the client, like you can establish I don't know, there's always like a weird pecking order. So but just bringing out each other's strengths instead of like awkwardly avoiding the fact that you don't know something or
Yeah, my dad was a structural engineer. I'm really good at knowing what I don't know. And there are so many subcontractors we could have listed here, right? There are hundreds of specialties that we all work with. And I think each of our jobs is to act as many times the interpreter for the client, to the client.
Right.
The architect may be saying something here and showing plans and the client's going, yep, I get it. And then I come in and say, well, do you realize that this is only this wide and you've got this over here? And I didn't know that. So we're definitely interpreters. And I think whoever comes on the project first tends to be the hub, so that when the project is under construction, the client isn't asking the project manager for the contractor all these questions that I need to answer. And then she gets confused. So it's like, don't talk to him. He'll talk to me. We'll talk to each other. So it is a little bit of a of movement to make sure that the right information gets to the client and they're not overwhelmed with the same information being told 100 different ways.
That's a really good point. Really good point.
Yeah. Anything to add, MJ, or we can move on to the next slide?
To the next slide. All right, so we wanted to ask actually all of you, what do you guys think about what are the ideal steps to engage with a client? Like the first ideal steps. You guys like to raise their hand.
Anybody have an absolute number one thing to do? Okay, we can go on.
I'll just say, in case people don't know, you can raise your hand.
I have a suggestion.
Oh, yeah, Malka, go ahead.
I think what I like to do is to tell them about myself and my company. So there's a comfort level of who they're dealing with, especially being human and not just an ad.
That's very true. Yeah. Hopefully that sort of happened before the process starts.
Yes.
but you're absolutely right. They want to know who you are. Janine, I can't tell if your hand was up and down and up or
Oh,
whatever.
sorry. Yeah, it
Awesome.
was up. I mean, I don't know at what point you're talking about with what the first step is, but I'd say listening and asking a lot of questions and being curious is a really good place to start.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And I think what Lindsay was about to say is, does everybody, if you don't know how to raise your hand, at the very bottom of your screen, at least if you're in an Apple, there is, see, mine's just below the screen. There should be something that says
Reactions.
here we
It's
are,
under
reactions.
reactions. Yeah. And if you there, you'll click raise hand.
You'll see
And
that. Yeah.
Nicole has her hand raised.
Hi, Nicole.
Hi, yeah, I would just say one of the really key things that I think, even for working with other contractors too, is to ask their preferred communication method. I mean, you're obviously going to be emailing them a lot of things, but that's the one thing. Like, some people are texters and other people like phone calls, and sometimes people can get offended if you don't call them, or they get upset if you call them. So I think that's a
Mhm.
really good question to ask, is like, what's your preferred, like, how do you like to communicate? Do you like phone calls? Do you like texts? And that just really helps, I think, with, preventing miscommunication, because there's going to be a lot of communication.
That's very true. I think as part of onboarding, you want to make sure that that is part of your process. For example, I always tell my clients that if they send me a request by text, it doesn't count because it could get lost. If they want to make a change or if they want to do something, it has to be email. So I have it in writing. And of course, they can always call, and they could text if it's a quick thought or an emergency. It doesn't mean they can't text. But I think each of us has to decide, how are we best going to communicate with our clients, and where do we set our boundaries? Right, Alexandra?
Yeah, I wanted to say that in communication, normally is, I mean, in the HR perspective, but also my clients are all in construction, landscaping, and people in the trades in reality. And one thing that I learned through all these years is communication is not about who you are, but how the other person is perceiving it. What do they want, right? So in the beginning of communication, right? Like I have a client right now. He's in San Francisco, and with his clients, he uses an app called Slack, which allow you to have multiple clients in it, and that's how he communicate with the client, because sometimes emails, and because as contractors, you're mostly on the street, you're mostly working outside.
Right.
Not
Slack
all
is
the
a
time
great tool.
yeah, so Slack, I see one, and then the second is, hey client, because Slack allow you to give a voice message from the client, like saying, hey, when is this coming, or what is happening with this, but it doesn't go into your phone, which is, you might have tons of phone calls during the day.
That's very true.
Yeah, that's my only 2 cents.
We also have, yeah, that was a very good point. We also have a couple of comments in the chat. Amy from Amy's Roofing says, listen, of course. And then I thought Shannon had a good comment, and to be mindful of our own communication preferences too, which I think is also a good point of, making sure that it's set, as Shannon says, setting boundaries that are a win for both sides. Well put.
Right. Set everything up for success for everybody. And Maya Angelou said something about, it's not what it is you do with someone, it's how you make them feel that they'll remember, right? How about we go to the next slide, MJ?
Great.
All right, so Heather Wright had a family emergency, and she is an amazing architect, and she started with this process. And as we were looking at it, it aligns so well with what a designer does typically. So I'm just going to sort of go through these, and if you have any conversation about any of these points, don't hesitate to just jump in. Okay. So you have an initial call. This is where, I forgot who was saying that, it's how do you speak to each other? How do you like each other? Do they, they get to know you? But you get a sense of the project scope. You get a rough budget, the timelines, because you want to make sure it's going to fit in your schedule and that the budget is the type of project that you work with. You want to try to understand the client's needs, wants, and dreams, of course, and we do that. I think on my slide, I go into a little bit more detail about that. But we are trying to interpret their dreams, right? And then create a reality for them. We send them our proposal, and then if approved, you can go on a site visit and get a little bit more detailed. Let's see, Janine, you popped up. Also, do I want to work with them? Of course. Yeah, if their timeline or if their budget is not aligned with your company, then, it's been great getting to know you. You might want to call so-and-so or check the ASID directory. From an architect's perspective, again, you go through a schematic design, then you have you request your estimates, develop the design, and then you end up with your construction documents. Are there any architects here who want to go into a little bit more detail, other than what Heather has written out here? No?
Since I'm
Yeah.
architect of 40 years, I'm just kind of listening. But I think the most important thing for me is whether my client understands I usually like to take experienced clients because architecture is such a complex project, as you know. Look at all the list of things you have to go through, that I know the client quite well. So when people say I'm going in for an interview with a client, I actually interviewed them as well to see how experienced they are in construction industry. And if they're really novices, and depending on the scope of the project or size of the project, I usually send it out to people who can kind of handhold them. So I think it's very important to know who your client is.
Excellent point. In my questionnaire, I asked, have you worked with a designer before? Because whether they have or they haven't, will help you determine whether or not it is the right project for you, or you'll know how to better communicate with them so that they understand everything that's going on. Okay, do you want to go to the next slide, MJ? And if you guys have anything to say, speak up.
I just raise her hand.
What's that?
Naima wants to comment. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see that. Hi.
Hi, that's okay. One thing I've noticed is, especially during since the pandemic and during the pandemic, in terms of budget, as a landscape architect, and I'm sure the architects experience the same thing, the clients love to ask you what the price range is going to be. And of course, we don't determine that. That's in the contractor's scope. So, and it's in our contracts to say we can make some rough, we can give you maybe a ballpark, but that's not really what we do. And then I've noticed a lot of them, especially nowadays, they don't even want to give you a budget, because then when you have your initial conversation, you say, well, what's your budget? And they're like, well, I don't know. Let's, and so it's become a little more difficult to parse out, what type of project you're doing, because they won't give you a budget. And you're like, well, is it 50,000 or 100,000 or 200,000? So I don't know if you've all noticed that trend, but it's been really hard to nail people down on how much money they're willing to spend lately.
Yes.
I think that's with everything. It's just like you, right? Would you want to go in and say, oh yeah, I just want this, this, and this, and then just assume you know what it's going to be? So some suggestions I might suggest is to ask for, think about your other projects. And if you can look at a picture of one of your other projects, you could say, well, this project was $250,000 and this one was $20,000. and this one was $100,000. You know, where are you most comfortable? Or if you don't have images like that to show them, you could say, well, a good idea would be to get pictures if you don't have your own, to know how much and figure out how much each of those pictures are, so that you could help them discern how much money they're going to be spending. And another idea is just to start off, you know, where are you most comfortable, in this range or this range? You know, like from 50 to 125,000, or 125,000 to 250,000, or if they want a lot of trees and you're putting in a pool and you're doing a waterfall or whatever, you know, 750 to 1,500,000, you know, where are you most comfortable? And then you could hone it in from there, but at least you get something out of them.
I do say these things.
Yeah.
And they say, you know, if you want this from based on some but even after all of that, sometimes you still can't get them, you know, and they'll ask, they don't realize, especially for landscape architecture, how expensive construction is, because they're like, oh, it's just the outdoors, it's not a building. And so they're always like flabbergasted when they get a budget back. So that's just been part of the challenge, because I think landscape architecture is always kind of misunderstood in that way.
I think it's all of us could say that happens to all of us. They're just blown away by prices. MJ, were you going to say something?
No, GC perspective, and when we are being asked for a RUM, we separate the building from the landscape, because they need to understand that, you know, this working outside, doing your landscape, hardscape, that's a different budget, and they need to really, you know, realize how much it's that they can spend for. So we'll talk maybe a little bit more on the next slide. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Why don't we go from a designer's perspective, which is very similar to an architect's. So first we have a discovery call, which is the general project scope, right? What would a successful result look like to them? What a budget range is, so we could determine if we're the right fit, and give them a reality check if they need it, right? A lot of people look at HGTV and, oh, they did that room for $20,000. And it's like, well, that was donated. That is, you know, going to end up in landfill in a year. And, you know, just let them know what the reality is. And what you get with quality pieces, you know, with anything, with construction, with interiors, with landscape design. And then do you feel a good fit? Are you going to have a good time with this client? Are you going to be able to make them happy? And does everything, you know, it's a feel thing at a point, right? And then of course, if they have a time issue or a big event coming up, like a wedding reception, can you make that deadline? Next, if we think it's a good fit, we schedule a site visit. I have a comprehensive questionnaire, I think most designers do, to really understand what the client's likes and dislikes are. And we have an overall review. We get the agreement and project scope and goals together. I have what's called an SLI experience, and I'm sure other designers have what the process is like, and take them through exactly what they can expect and when. And then we get a non-refundable retainer, which is kind of critical. If they're not ready to give us a retainer, we're not ready to do the work. And then we schedule the measure and photography. So anybody else out there, designers, when you first onboard people or first trying to discern whether or not this might be a good project, what do you do?
I just want to do a time check, you guys. You have about 6 or 7 minutes left.
Okay, so if you want to contact me afterwards and we could chat about it, we could do that, because we should mosey along. We get approvals. We update the project scope, make sure we're all on the same page. I have a 10 rules of engagement, which is basically calling out the elephants in the room. We don't do this, we do this. This is what we expect. This is what you can expect. And then the conceptual design phase where we start playing. And this is where we meet with the architect and the contractors and we start building our team. We start with the design and we start putting together the estimates. And knowing what their budget is determines where our resources are going to be. If they have a decent budget, we'll look at custom pieces or, Desinfonier or well, who no longer is in business, Gregorius Pinio or Holly Hunt or something. And then if they don't have those types of budgets, then we look at forehands and noir and more cost-effective resources. And then we make sure we're on target, get all our estimates from all the trades and move forward from there. Since we're tight on time, we can move to the contractors.
Hey. Well, I think, our ideal first steps, of course, for a GC is to be involved from the pre-construction phase, when the architects are designing or the designers are designing. That way we can help the process with the client when it comes to what's the budget. Let's do some value engineer. Let's focus on different maybe phases, depends on their budget. So that would be great. And of course, when we meet the client and when we meet the team, as the architect perspective, designer perspective, we need to walk through each step of the construction. What are the expectations? So
Absolutely. So pretty much when we go through the client meets and we do walkthroughs and we get our subcontractors to be on board, one of the things that we like to do is be able to provide actually a physical timeline of step by step what the construction process will be like. Of course, things actually change throughout the process, but we start adding and we start updating it on a bi-weekly basis. So that way we're all on the same page and we understand what it is. Yep. That's exactly it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's the one that we usually love to that's kind of like our North Star in our Bible. And that's what we go through in order to maintain and be able to actually reach or achieve that goal of the end date that you usually have. So when we were actually, done with that process and we go through the bidding process and the timeline and we get the project awarded to us, the first thing that we like to do is actually an expectation meeting. So we will have the client, the design team, if we have an architect, an interior designer, both of them will be present. And we go over what we expect from our end, from the clients, from the architect and interior designer. In terms of, as I mentioned, we will have that timeline and then we'll go, okay, we're going to have our OAC meetings on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. What are the styles of communication that you prefer? Do we call when it's an urgent matter? Do we, those little things that are so important to have established since the beginning. For us, it's one of the things that we always do with all of our clients when we first start our project. And then after that, will be just, visualization, just bring all the stuff in, whatever is needed for demo, or if we're doing a ground up, just building all the things, our little office and so forth. So that's sort of our process. Yeah.
I think one thing to bring up as well is there's a lot of things that go on that in service to our clients, they don't need to know, right? If there's a problem or something that isn't working quite the way you thought it would work, you try to figure it out first, and then you can go to the client with what the problem was and what the solution is, so that they're not freaking out every 2 seconds, which is, I think pretty critical.
Just about that, Stacey, that's one of the things that we like to do is we usually talk to the architect and interior designer and tell them, hey, this is what's happening, or if there's a delay in something, we'll let them know to make sure that we're all on the same page prior to talking to the client.
Thank you. Yes, very much so. And I might come up with a thing that, oh, well, can't we just do this? And then the contractor will go, well, that'll entail, a $500,000 moment frame. Is that something you really want to present? And I'll say, well, maybe not. So, there's little things that you can encourage to try to figure out. It might be a little bit more difficult than initially thought, but working as a team, we can get it together and then we can show the client, look what we came up with, and isn't this cool? And do you want it? And it's part of the working with the team and just having a good time, I think. Are there any?
You guys, we've got quite a few comments in the chat about the 10 rules of engagement. Is that something that you could share with us, Stacy, or at least send us that we can share with the team? And
yeah,
great.
I'm happy to do that.
Great. Do you want to take the screen share off? Because I think there's a few people that might have a couple of comments before we wrap up. We want to try to wrap up right at noon here. I'm sorry, at 1. Yeah. Alexandra, did you have a comment?
Yeah. So my question is, so in NABO, we have a lot of realtors, real estate people. How do we, who are your clients? If you go directly with your clients, or do you also care for introductions to realtors, real estate people that, when somebody's purchasing a home? Who are your ideal client?
Yeah, absolutely. So we work with realtors a lot. We're actually bidding a project in South Salida, Tiburon, because of a realtor. So for us, our clients are from realtors, interior designers, architects. What happens a lot with us is word of mouth. That's one of the main ways we actually get our business. We have, I think 90% of our business is actually referrals. Right now we're bidding 5 projects and they were all referrals from previous clients, from current clients, from architects, from interior designers. Yes, we will, as a GC, we do work, and actually it's something that we really like to work with realtors, because the client is excited at the moment and they're ready to just go on and really do whatever needs to get done to have a pretty home.
Yeah. I'll echo that. Realtors are a wonderful referral source. Architects are great, whether we're working in partnership with them or they turn us over, whatever way they want to work. And contractors, a lot of times people think they just need a contractor. They've got everything under control. And the contractor really does not want to design the tile backsplash or the flooring or what the lighting design is going to be and what, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
We actually have a contract on our, prime contract. We say we're not architect, we're not engineers, we're
right.
not.
Yeah.
When it comes to homes, everyone's your client, right? Because everyone wants and needs a home. Well, thank you guys so much. This was really, really helpful. It seems like everyone got a lot out of it. And I did notice a lot of information in the chat, so please feel free to reach out and connect further. And it sounds like we could absolutely continue on this conversation for a lot longer. And it was really enjoyable. So yeah, thank you again, MJ and Gigi and Stacy. And Stacy, if you would share those 10 rules of engagement, that would be great. I just want to say
I'll
that.
Email it to you, Lindsay.
Pardon?
I'll email it to you or put it in the chat. It's a PDF.
Maybe me and Christine. That way, Christine, I think we'll be able to send it out to everyone.
Okay.
So our next women's meeting with Marin Builders Association is on November 14th. Same bat time, same bat channel, 12 to 1. We've got our 3 presenters. We've got Magda. I hope I'm saying your last name correctly, Magda Lozzi with Marin Sanitary.
Magda Loxy, just like Loxy Design.
Thank you, thank you. And Kate Kelly with Ceramic Tile Center and Nicole Lingbeck with America's Subcontractor Association. So those will be 3 short presentations, about 10 minutes each. And of course, we'll have our regular introductions. And then Rick, I believe you've got a pretty exciting announcement for Marin Builders.
So first of all, thank you all for being here today. Thanks for your support of the Builders Association. On our next holiday, our next membership-wide event is going to be our holiday party, and that is on December the 10th. And that is from 5 to 7 p.m. And it's at a new location this year, which is Ounces Outdoors, which is here in Northgate in San Rafael, right across from our office. Registration for that will be coming soon. And if you're not following us on social media, it's a great way to connect via LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. And this recording will be up on our YouTube channel. I'm going to try and have it up there tomorrow at the latest. It'll be up early next week. Thank you.
Yes, and everybody say aloha to Christine in Hawaii.
And I will get those the 10 rules of engagement out probably next week. So I'm on vacation,
Yeah,
so it'll be out next week.
I'm not going to get to it for a little while. I have to run, but yes, I will do that.
Wonderful. Well, fabulous presentation. Thank you again. Thank you everybody for being here. And please have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank
And
you.
Shannon, the answer is yes.
Bye.